Hello, this is wmpyr. Been super busy right now, but I just wanted to make this quick video. Think of this as kind of as a trailer for tonight. What I normally do on Sunday nights is I meet up with Sensei Rick online and we do a movie review for you guys. And this would be, I believe, movie number 7 if you count the first two Ass movies. The first one was Fist of the North Star. The second one was Lone Wolf and Cub that we talked about. Then we got into Ghost Dog. And then it was Predator. And then it was They Live. And then Highlander 3 was the most recent. So now it's going to be Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, so I'm really excited. We've both seen that movie many times throughout our lives. So we're excited to talk about it. But in this video, I just kind of wanted to talk about something very specific in Conan the Barbarian, which is the Riddle of Steel. So I want to solve that for you guys, at least my perspective, and talk about that real quick. And then the rest of the videos tonight, he does one and then I do one. That's kind of the format that we've been doing. And so his version, that guy, Sensei Rick, is like, he goes into like, he knows the directors, the production names and stuff like that. He's all familiar with that kind of stuff. He can go into like real deep technical stuff. It's a shame he didn't go to film school, really. So he'll do that kind of stuff for you guys, and I'll just be a guest on that video. And then there's another video that we're going to do. So we always film 2 videos, and that'll be my video where I'm the host and he's the guest. And in that one, I just like to do kind of like a discussion and kind of talk about, since a lot of these movies, most of these movies have been like already been reviewed to death, so I want to bring in something a little different, like something outside the box, right? That's kind of like what I like to do. So anyway, yeah, Sensei Rick, he's really been adding more and more content onto his YouTube channel, so please, show him some support and check out his YouTube page. Whatchamacallit, the guy does Filipino martial arts, I do Filipino martial arts. But even though we both do that, it's very different. His is completely different from mine. And I believe his is very unique. His interpretation or his expression of Filipino martial arts is super unique. I haven't seen anyone else on YouTube like it. And hopefully people feel that way about mine too, that my Filipino martial arts interpretation, expression is unique as well. So yeah, if that sounds interesting, please check them out. So okay, now let's talk about the Riddle of Steel. That's kind of been like a main philosophy part in Conan. And I got to do a shout out for Mr. Malafaka on his YouTube channel, because he did a series called Conan the Barbarian In-Depth Analysis. So he made a series of videos, I believe 1 through like 14. Some of them are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They're not super long. So those videos really like inspired me to do this. To make this video right here, where I'm focusing just on the Riddle of Steel itself. And yeah, so I just wanted to do a shout out for him. My interpretation or whatever is different from his. Okay, so let me just this is my version, so to speak. But I want to give him credit, because his for sure inspired me. It definitely at least put me probably in a similar direction as his. Okay, so the Riddle of Steel. They talk about it in the movie Conan the Barbarian, and so it's kind of like, what is it? What is the Riddle of Steel? What is the secret about this? And for me, the way that I view it is, in order for Conan to accomplish his mission in the movie, which is basically 2 things: rescue the princess and then get revenge. So those are the 2 main things that he needs to do in the movie, in this story, in Conan the Barbarian. And in order for him to accomplish that, he needs the Riddle of Steel. He needs to solve it, right? And the way that I see it is there's actually three different answers, and you need all three. It's not one is more right than the other. In fact, to me, when you watch the movie, and anytime he is missing one of those, he's not able to successfully complete it. And at the very end, he's able to because he has all three. But there's other times in the movie where he has one but not the other. So you can kind of see that. Go back and check it out for yourself. So number one is what his dad was saying. His dad was saying all the stuff about this you can trust, pointing to the sword. So and the way that I interpret that is basically it doesn't have to be a sword. Any weapon, and by weapon, it's also to me the skill, how to use the weapon as well. So that is what the dad is talking about. And if you watch the movie Conan, he becomes a student of the sword. He learns how to use the sword. First is the gladiators, right? He goes in there, learns how to use all kinds of weapons, learns how to actually take someone out and whatnot, and actually fight full contact to the death matches. And then he earns the right to actually learn from a sword master, and you can tell he becomes a student of the sword. So it's martial arts training, and he falls in love with it, and you could see him just like super into it. It becomes like a way of life for the guy. He completely embraces it, right? So that's what the dad is talking about. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is what Thulsa Doom says to him when Conan gets captured at the Mountain of Power. Thulsa Doom says, do you want me to tell you what the Riddle of Steel is? And he says, the answer is flesh. Flesh is more powerful than steel, because what is steel compared to flesh that wields it, right? So my interpretation of that is that what he means is the ability to use the weapon. Okay, so if you could have the weapon, but if you don't have the ability to use it, what good is it? So that makes total sense to me. So, wielding the weapon, in other words, it's kind of like someone, this kind of overlaps. They all connect. All three of the answers connect. So this is a little bit of overlap with the first one, but imagine someone who has a $500 knife. It's a really, really awesome knife, okay? But if they don't know how to use it, they don't have the ability to use it, then it's meaningless. It don't matter you have an awesome knife, right? So to me, I see it as the ability. Do you have the capability to win? The capability to use it on somebody, okay? So it's not just the skill. You need to have the ability. So another perfect example I could give you guys is, let's take a look at me, right? I'm 150 pounds, all right? And put me up against, I don't know, the current UFC heavyweight champion. I don't know who it is, or, just any UFC heavyweight champion, right? I don't have the ability to win against someone like that, okay? I have skill, I have weapons, which is techniques, but I don't have the ability to win. Does that make sense? So to me, that is what Thulsa Doom is talking about when he talks about flesh, is the ability to make it happen, and I don't have the ability. Now, give me a knife, give me three other buddies that are just as determined, then the three of us take on this heavyweight dude like in a dark alley. Sure, I think I can take him then. Then I have the ability to do it. Okay, so the ability is a totally different thing. So let's take a look at Thulsa Doom, right? He himself is not the fighter. He is the leader of the cult, right? Maybe when he was younger, he did some fighting, but he is the cult leader. And he has two dogs of war, essentially. One is Thorgrim, the guy with a hammer, and the other is Rexor, the Viking dude, right? So those two of them, those two guys are his weapons and his ability, and then the entire cult make him able to, go conquer cities and, put up these cults and try to take over the world. That gives him the ability. All right. So that's what he understands is you need to have the ability. So that's number 2. That's what Thulsa Doom is talking about when he means flesh. Right. Okay. So number 3, to me, this is where it to me is Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, where the power was with her the entire time and she didn't know it. She was wearing those ruby slippers, so she had the capability to go home the whole time, but she just didn't know. So it's kind of like that. Conan, it was inside him the whole time, and that is purpose, drive, okay? Whatchamacallit, Malafaka kind of calls this, he called it, what did he call it? He called it will, okay? So kind of similar in similar lines, but it is the purpose in life. So when Conan was a gladiator, right, and he had that empty look after he was doing all the gladiator, he was just killing people, but then in the end he just looked empty. That right there is no different than someone today going to an 8 to 5 job in a office cubicle every day, just going through the motions, and you feel dead inside. So it's the same thing, even though for Conan's time, he's a gladiator and he's killing people. But it was just like a job to him where he felt no sense of purpose. He didn't feel alive. So there was no purpose there, okay? And then the part where he meets Subotai and he meets Valeria, and the 3 of them, they, go steal a bunch of jewels and everything, and they're living like, mini kings, queens, and they're having a blast, and but once again, Conan has that dead look where he just has no purpose. He's just being spoiled and rotten, and he just, he's dead inside. So it's the same thing right there. No purpose. He forgot. And Valeria, definitely, I agree with Malafaka there that Valeria was the one that kind of helps him realize it, but she doesn't know it. In fact, like I said, she and Subotai kind of have the opposite effect where they're trying to take him away from the goal, and they're saying, don't go, don't go after Thulsa Doom. We're doing great right now. Let's just stay this way. So she's doing the opposite effect. But no, inside, she helps him realize what's inside. She helps him awaken it, but he, not deliberately. She's not like, this is what you're lacking, you need to do this. No, she's not a mentor like that. So anyway, through her help, and you could even include Subotai in there, but indirectly, he's able to understand that, and he knew this all along, that he has that drive, that purpose, that mission, which is revenge. He needs to do it. And until he does it, it ain't going to be right. And he even says that to Subotai right before the final battle. He says, for guys like us. And so, yeah. And if you look at the times, like when he goes to the Mountain of Power, he doesn't have his sword there, and every time he doesn't have his sword, he gets like captured. So that's you need to listen to your dad, right? The dad said you trust the sword, so you need to have that with you. So when he doesn't have it, it's already, you're going, uh-oh, big mistake, right? So you need to listen to the dad, and it makes full circle because at the end, when he takes out Thulsa Doom, it's his dad's sword that helps him snap out of it and remember his mission. So, once again, it's all of it combined. It's all 3, right? So you need the sword. And then, like I said, at the Mountain of Power where he gets captured, he didn't have his ability. So even if he, let's say, took out one of the guards there and grabbed one of their weapons and then decided to take on Thulsa Doom and everybody else there by himself, I don't think it would have been so good for him. Because, once again, he didn't have the ability. That's what Thulsa Doom was talking about. He was out outnumbered way too much. So he needed Subotai, Valeria, the wizard. He needed the traps. He needed the ability to win. He did not have that at the Mountain of Power. And maybe that wasn't his intention. Maybe he just wanted to go there and scope out and then come back and then formulate a strategy. But Subotai had warned him before, and he said, "You make a terrible thief." Meaning, you're not good at infiltrating. You're really bad at it. You're this big, bulky guy, so he's not good at that kind of thing. He's a terrible spy in a way, and we get that. But he's an awesome warrior, right? So once again, if any one of those three is lacking, he's not able to fully do his thing. So by the end, when he fully realizes, which is the battle against Rexor, at that point where he realizes he is now 100%, now I know I need to do this. This is my calling. I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to go all the way. So he has that drive. He has the weapons. And then he has his buddies. So he's all set. He's ready to go, So that, to me, is the answer to the Riddle of Steel. So I'm sorry this video got too long, but yeah, it's those three things. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and please look forward to tonight as well. Late tonight. All right. So later, guys.